Welcome to Leg 12 of the Great Loop aboard the Perch. This is Kim Russo with America's Great Loop Cruisers Association. And today we are going from Beaufort, South Carolina, where we left the boat in advance of an AGLCA event. We returned several days later after having traveled by plane to Houston and continued our trek up the Atlantic Intracoastal Waterway through Edisto Island, Wadmalawa Island, Johns Island. These are all kind of our home base area and places we have cruised frequently and anchored frequently. So pretty excited to be this close to home at this point. This is our departure from our marina at Beaufort. It was the Beaufort City Marina. And as we left there, we continued our winding path up the Atlantic Intracoastal Waterway through our home waters of South Carolina. So a pretty easy cruising day, not a tremendous amount of miles, not a tremendous number of hours for us today. As we continue north, dolphins tend to mock me. Every time I see some and pull out the camera, they have already disappeared or they, pop up in the other direction. So I got a little bit of a shot of some dolphin there as we were continuing our trek. And continuing on, there are a few pretty sharp turns on the Atlantic Intracoastal Waterway through this particular area. So you want to make sure that you're following your navigation, whether it's an electronic chart or paper charts. You just want to make sure that you are following the Atlantic Intracoastal Waterway. So look for those gold triangles and squares on the markers. Sharp turn to starboard right about there that you see. And continuing on, we saw lots of crab pots in this area, and we even saw some of the fishermen tending to their crab pots. So it was interesting to see them out there taking care of all of those floaters, the buoys that they have on the surface there, and getting the crabs that they have caught. Continuing through the winding pathway, pretty soon we were on the Wadmalawa River. So again, getting closer and closer to what is the home port for the Perch. We, of course, did not start the Great Loop from Charleston, which is our home port. We had wintered in Florida first. So we officially started the Great Loop from Fort Myers. So even though we're approaching home, for many, approaching home would be the closure of their loop. For us, that is not the case. But still just as exciting for us to be approaching Charleston. The Wadmalawa River is where we kind of started to see a little bit more boat traffic. Lots more shoreside development, so more private residential docks and things that you may have to slow down for along the way. And as we continued on towards the Stono River is where things got even busier. So just particularly depending on the time of year and the day of the week that you're coming through Charleston, it can be a busy boating destination. This was a weekday, not a weekend, and we were coming through around midday, but there were some boats on the water that you just need to be careful of. So particularly around the boat ramps, make sure that you're not kicking up any wake and safe boating. As you approach Charleston, this is the Wadmalawa Cut you can see, and I want to show you to the starboard side. Just before that bridge is the St. John's Marina. They are an AGLCA sponsor and just a short distance off the ICW. But we are going through Elliott Cut, which is kind of well known in the area. The current very much rips through there, and any boats that you pass that are kicking up a wake, that wake just bounces around the sides there. So the current was against us as we came through Elliott Cut, and we lost about 2 knots of speed. But once you get through Elliott's Cut, you are approaching Charleston. That is the mega dock at City Marina that you can see. And we pulled into our home marina of Ripley Light Yacht Club. And you can see the entrance here to the marina. It shoals a little bit right there at the entrance, so you do need to go slow and just make sure you have enough depth. But we were extremely happy to be pulled back into our home marina. We were underway for 7 hours on this day. We went 57 miles at an average speed of 8 knots with a maximum of 10 knots. So no real open spaces that we were pushing up the speed on this particular journey. But we were thrilled to be back home in Charleston, where we would stay for about 5 days before we continue on the Great Loop. So we will be back soon with our journey from Charleston to our next port of call, which will be Georgetown, South Carolina. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.